Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. And remember how I made a Power Rangers Biker Force video a couple months ago? Well, I decided I wanted to go back to that. And so today, I'm going to give you guys a part 2 for this story. And to give some kind of a story to go along with the artworks, I'm going to be going into the character-driven episodes. While a lot of episodes are going to be character driven, these are going to be the main ones that are going to be developing the characters. Basically, with what a lot of Power Ranger episodes do. And for today, I'm going to be drawing the allies and the villains of the Rangers. Or at least the primary ones. And to pull this off, I called on the assistance of some of my friends to help out with this story. So, sit back and enjoy. Episodes 1 and 2 we already talked about, and they would essentially act as the introduction to the season's tone and how its world works. We'd get our introductions for the Rangers, their allies, and the villains, along with their special weapons and the Megazord. Episode 3, called Alpha, will be the first character-driven episode, focusing on Conor having difficulty trusting Anthony, as the two most popular girls in school, Emma and Kacey, seem to just fall head over heels for Anthony. So the idea for this came from the Power Ranger franchise itself, that being the girls having a crush on other Rangers, i.e. Sixth Ranger love, let's call it, and a member of the team becoming jealous because of this. However, here it's not exactly the same. When he sees Anthony getting all the lovey-dovey looks from the girls, Conor will become more and more jealous, as he's been trying for years to get that kind of attention from the two most popular girls in school. This causes him to start questioning the team's leader in decision-making as well. In his mind, if he's getting all the attention from the girls, that's the reason why he's the leader. When the Monster of the Week attacks, the team gets overwhelmed pretty easily, and Anthony calls for them to fall back and regroup. However, Conor, in an attempt to show his strength and power to the girls, ignores him and rushes the monster, who we'll call Blizzard, but is knocked down again. When the team gets back to the command cave, Anthony keeps Conor back as the others leave to get some rest, shouting at him because he disobeyed a direct order. That's when Conor calls out Anthony for hogging all the love for the girls. That's what this is about? Attention from the girls? Conor, I don't even want the attention. I've been trying to get them to leave me alone for weeks. And it's not just Emma and Kacey. Every girl in school is like this. I don't like that kind of attention. I just want to be left alone sometimes, but the girls are too insistent about my supposed good looks. Conor is ultimately shocked about this. Neither of them likes where they are in the popularity poll for the opposite gender, but it seems they have to take what they can get. Anthony then says he thinks Conor looks more handsome, while Conor makes a joke saying that maybe he should blame Anthony's popularity on his parents' genes. This would also be something of a setup for a future plot twist. They then shake hands on friendship as the monster returns. This time, they all band together, and, as a team, Conor and Anthony deal the final blow. As the epilogue of the episode, after the monster is defeated but still emphasizing the story's morals, the team is ready to meet Conor after football practice when one of the head cheerleaders comes up and starts flirting with Anthony, while Emma gives a look, hinting that she might actually have feelings for him. Anthony then says to the cheerleader about another very handsome gentleman, pointing out Conor. This time, Conor finally gets a girlfriend, something he's been looking for about a year now. Episode 4, titled Mind Over Matter, will be focused on Aaron, as the team is thrust into a position of having their closest friends be mind controlled by the monster of the week, and the team splits up to find the monster, with Aaron and Conor finding him before the others can get there. Aaron tries to protect a young woman, but he's unsure of his own abilities. This idea came from the Megaforce episode Going Viral, where Noah deals with the same kinds of outcast feelings. However, I feel like the Megaforce episode didn't have the right amount of weight to the story. So I'm going to try something a little different here, and give my own spin on this kind of story. Aaron feels very left out of the group due to their individual skills. Anthony and Emma are martial arts masters, Conor is practically the star of the football team, and Kacey's dancing is very well known in the school and can give her a leg up in battle. But him? He's just a technology nerd. He's not a fighter. And during the first encounter with the monster, who, let's call him Brain Freeze, the team discovers he can spray anyone and mind control them to do his bidding. And he does this with most of their classmates before fleeing, which leaves the classmates to start marching towards the Rangers. They fight them off, ensuring not to hurt anyone, and take off. The team would then decide to split up, with Conor and Aaron going as their pairing. They soon come across Brain Freeze again, as he sprays more people and starts moving towards a young woman, akin to a predator playing with its food. Then, during their attack on him, Aaron makes a mistake that causes the woman to need medical attention, and he takes her to the hospital. At the school later, Aaron verbalizes his feelings to Conor, saying that he's not worthy to be a ranger, saying he's nothing compared to the others. But that's when Conor comes with a retort. You're kidding, right? That's really your problem? Not being strong or skilled enough to be a hero? Dude, you are a hero. You help us defend the city. Without you, the team would fall apart. You help with information. You even helped upgrade our weapons last week. You can't say you're nothing based on that. And you've been looking up to me to be a hero? Thing is, I've been doing the same to you. I mean, yeah, I'm strong, I'm the star of the football team, and a fast learner in battle. But you? You're so much smarter and confident than I could ever be. Truth is, ever since we first met and you tutored me in our first lesson, I've always looked up to you, man. You've been my hero. And it's this speech that gives Aaron the confidence to figure out the monster's weakness, creating a device with Theta to counter his mind control waves. This manages to reverse the monster's effects on the population, and the Rangers manage to win the day. As the epilogue of the episode, after the monster is defeated but still emphasizing the story's morals, Aaron is morphed and visits the young woman in the hospital, who thanks him for saving the day. While she won't be out for another week, he says he can wait for her and ensure that she'll be okay and get back home safe. She would then thank him again as he would teleport away. Episode 5, called Fight or Flight, will be a focus episode for Emma, as she feels a struggle in battle with the monster, as she is humiliated and doubts her own skills. However, it's by looking through another lens that she sees what she couldn't before. So this episode came about because of my crush streak on Yellow Rangers, but many of them, especially in the Neo Saban era, don't have much in the way of character development. So, yeah, this is an attempt to give female characters the proper development they deserve. The episode would see the team defeat another monster, but afterwards, something seems off about Emma. At their normal hangout spot, she tells Kacey that she feels outclassed by the guys sometimes. Kacey, though, calms her and they enjoy a sweet treat together. Later, the monster of the week attacks, but the boys are unresponsive. So, Emma and Kacey take it upon themselves to battle the new threat, which ends badly for them as the monster, who we'll call Freeze Queen, throws the girls around like ragdolls, busting them into buildings and into the ground itself. When the boys show up, Freeze Queen taunts Emma for her terrible skills, causing Emma to feel completely humiliated. When the team gets back to the command cave, Emma just sits in the corner as the crew goes to visit Jared, as he's now one of the Paishwa teachers, to get some advice, while Anthony stays behind with Emma. They get to talking as Anthony asks what's wrong, because as the team leader, it's his job to ensure everyone's okay and properly ready for everything. And that's when we learn Emma's mental state.
It's just that monster we faced. She had almost a perfect counter to all my moves. No matter what, she knew how to counter. I was defeated, humiliated. She threw me around like a rag doll. But Conor wouldn't have been. He's too powerful for that to happen. Aaron wouldn't have been. He's too smart for that. You wouldn't have been. You make all the right moves. Take all the right steps. You don't lose battles like this. I'm not even sure why I'm here. I failed the team. I failed you. I shouldn't even be here anymore.
Anthony then would take a moment before explaining that things aren't that simple. He explains that in his first karate tournament, he was defeated in his first match, cracking under the pressure. But he never let that keep him down, and instead trained, preparing himself for next time. And when he did go to the next one, he met back up with the same opponent. But this time, Anthony came out on top, just by using his mind and focusing on instinct. And he spent his entire life training to be ready for the next challenge. But when he first met Emma, she was already skilled enough that she wouldn't need that kind of lifelong training. He saw her as perfectly capable of winning a tournament just by her tough attitude alone, even quickly catching himself when he almost says he likes that about her. Well, in a more lovey-dovey sort of way. And this does calm her down as they take a moment, with Emma leaning her head on his shoulder, thanking him. Afterwards, Freeze Queen shows up again, and the two head out. When they get to her location, Freeze Queen calls out Emma as a coward for bringing help in this. Anthony places his hand on her shoulder and nods. She then moves and faces Freeze Queen on her own. When the other Rangers arrive, Anthony stops them from engaging in the fight, as Emma digs deep within and manages to take down Freeze Queen using just her skill, her mind, and her instincts. As the epilogue of the episode, after the monster is defeated but still emphasizing the story's morals, Anthony is teaching his after-school kids karate class when Emma shows up as the class lets out. And she asks Anthony to give her some tips on some of his favorite karate moves. He agrees to give her a private lesson as she gives a flirty smile to him. Episode 6, called Rangers of Love, will be focused on Anthony, as he begins to develop strong feelings for Emma. Yet, things get much too difficult for him when it comes to the more direct questions of conversations. But he may soon realize there's more to them than meets the eye. Now, this idea has been something of a more personal idea, but sprouted with the many Power Ranger seasons that had the whole will they, won't they storylines with its characters. Turbo, Megaforce, Dino Thunder, even Mighty Morphin was guilty of this trope. Yet surprisingly, it was also the earlier seasons that gave resolutions to these stories. So I wanted to do the same here. And this is also a bit of a play on me, as I found that during high school it was very hard for me to ask a girl out. The episode would begin with Emma at another private class with Anthony, where he's teaching her some of the throwing maneuvers, which she picks up very fast. Upon her quickly mastering a combo and taking down Anthony in seconds, he notices something he never noticed before. The following day, he talks with the guys about this, and Conor would give him the usual tough guy who doesn't understand love routine, while Aaron would point out that the school's homecoming dance is on Saturday, and that would be a perfect opportunity to ask her out. However, the monster of the week attacks, and the team assembles to fight. But, during the fight, Anthony can't seem to think straight, being distracted by Emma's new skills and grace on the battlefield. The monster, who we'll call Arctic Meister, ends up winning the battle, but starts to melt, and so he retreats. Afterwards, the team is in the command cave, where Gozen would give them a usual mentor pep talk on focus. However, even still, Anthony isn't sure of his own abilities. When the whole team leaves, he goes to sit on the cliffside, taking in the silence and the sea air, when Kacey would find him there. He laments that he was the one who failed today, as he has feelings for Emma. Feelings he never felt for her before.
Hey, you're not responsible for our loss today. Sure, you're the leader, but because we believe in you. Emma does too, but we're not fools. If you have feelings for her, just go talk to her.
That's just it, though. Ever since these feelings began, it's been hard for me to talk to her directly. I mean, when we're in battle, I can speak clearly, but when it's just us, I don't know, I can't find the words.
Then what you need to do is find the sentence you want to use and go say it to her.
But what if she says no? I don't think I could take that kind of rejection.
Well, you're just gonna have to face that fear. Look, Anthony, there's no simple solution when it comes to love, but it just comes down to facing your fears and going right into the unknown. Trust me, you just need to let it out before she chooses another.
Anthony then thanks Kacey as she walks off.
Plus, the dance is a Saturday, and I know for a fact she doesn't have a date to it yet.
The next day, Arctic Meister attacks again, but this time with some help from Aaron and his tech skills, the team beats him with a heat ray. As the epilogue of the episode, after the monster is defeated but still emphasizing the story's morals, Anthony is giving Emma another lesson, and afterwards, Anthony struggles for a minute before blurting out if she would go with him to the homecoming dance. And after a moment, she would smile and basically say, "What took you so long?" And they would embrace, saying that she was shy about asking him as well. And maybe they'd kiss as we fade out. Episode 7, called The Bully, will have a focus on Kacey, as she has to deal with bullies who manage to break her spirit. Upon seeing this kind of effect on humans, the Glacia Navy decides to put this into action as a plan of their own. There have been a lot of bully characters and stories in Power Rangers, but strangely enough, none of them hit people, especially me, in the way that dealing with a real bully is like. Just one standing up for yourself moment and they're suddenly your friend? That is extremely unrealistic. So for this one, I wanted to make a more fleshed out and basically evil character that will stay this way for several episodes, and later learn the error of his ways. This won't exactly be a Bulk and Skull kind of character who were essentially cool kid wannabes. or Derek from Dino Thunder, who was just misunderstood. This will be a bit of a better representation of bullies towards kids. When the team gets out of class for the day, the school's bully, who, let's say his name is Hank, comes down the hall and pushes the team out of his way. And Kacey calls him out for it. Hank would then call her out as a fake little ray of sunshine, basically giving the exposition of her parents being divorced, and this would cause her to break down, running off with tears in her eyes. Anthony and Emma, though, stand up to the bully, insulting him as they head out to their friend. Outside, they look and see Kacey crying in a small field of flowers. They quietly walk over and sit on either side of her, which would be a bit of a visual representation that they are still a couple at this point, but they focus more on their friendships with the whole team rather than their personal love. While they sit next to Kacey, they won't say anything, but just wait for her to make the first move.
He's right, There's nothing more to my life. I'm nothing.
She continues to cry as Emma then places her arm around her best friend, as Anthony sits by and places a hand on her shoulder. If anything, I'm mostly writing this to just take its time and not talk, allowing the expressions to do the heavy lifting. Another thing to note is that the Glacian Navy watches all this unfold, with Prince Aisen and Ice Karver getting an idea from this. The following day, Emma stays by Kacey's side, but she's still noticed by Hank after school, who decides to go after her again, this time calling her out as being very depressed about life, saying the world wouldn't care if she wasn't in it. Anthony, Aaron, and Conor come in to defend their friend, giving threatening glares to him. He gives one more insult before leaving, causing Kacey to once again break down. However, the team stays with her and takes her to their normal hangout spot to calm her down. That is, until the monster of the week, who, let's call him Cold Bruiser, would appear with a group of Icions, and a battle commences. During this battle, Kacey finds herself alone against Cold Bruiser, who walks slowly towards her, calling her insignificant, weak, and cruel names, and all throughout, causing her to break down during the fight, being grabbed and restrained by Icions, something that wouldn't normally happen. Prince Aisen then appears, sword drawn and ready to strike her down. However, Anthony would come in and knock over Aisen as they face each other. I should also note that their rivalry would begin in episode 2, build in episode 5 and 6, and this episode would feature their first actual battle. Meanwhile, Cold Bruiser makes his way through the other Rangers, saying very childish insults, yet bringing all 4 of them to their knees, begging for it to stop. With his team in trouble, Anthony calls for them to be teleported, and they are transported back to the command cave. There, the team learns the monster's power, to draw upon a person's innermost regrets and make them hit like boulders.
While these words may seem to hurt more than any blow they may conjure, you must remember, Rangers, that they are just words. You must push through them and stand as one. For by breaking the spirit of good within you, that is how their evil shall truly win. To defeat this opponent, you must put faith and trust in yourselves and each other.
After his pep talk, Cold Bruiser is seen causing havoc in the city. With newfound faith in their teamwork, they're able to defeat Cold Bruiser, with Kacey delivering the finishing blow. As the epilogue of the episode, after the monster is defeated but still emphasizing the story's morals, Hank attempts to go after Kacey once again. He insults her as a piece of filth, but she stands up to him. He keeps trying to insult her and make her break, but she doesn't. Pretty soon, he starts to crumble into a crying mess, to which Kacey offers him a helping hand, showing that she still has a good heart. But he instead pushes her aside and runs for it, having lost his hold on her. Episode 28, titled A Lone Wolf, will be a focus episode for Charlie, as he has a hard time working with the team even after his curse is broken. However, through new mentorship, he might actually find a way to live with his new team. Now, the placement of this episode will be after what I want to call the Friendships Are Forever arc, where the Rangers find out about Charlie's secret and help him break his monstrous curse. However, even after this, he would still be very used to working alone, only seeing Anthony as a quote-unquote worthy partner. And it's something that other 6th Rangers usually go through, but not many of them have what feels like a good resolution or buildups. In my opinion, I feel that Eric, Trent, and Merrick were the closest at making this arc work at its best. They weren't willing to work with their respective team of Rangers immediately. It took time with them for these Rangers to ultimately come around, be honest, and create friendships with their respective teams. And this is how I feel it would go down for this team. It's been about a week since Charlie's curse was broken with the destruction of Armorsore, though he still clearly hasn't gotten over the fact that he attacked the city and his friends. Because of his guilt, he always stays away from the team, which is evident with the newest monster attack, as Charlie decides to go alone. While he does win, this causes more of a rift between him and the team, Conor in particular. After school the next day, another monster of the week attacks, but when the group gets there, he's already gone. For right now, Charlie and Conor are going to be paired up together. However, Charlie seems disinterested in Conor's input and keeps saying he should be alone on this mission. Seriously, dude? We've got a monster on the loose, and you don't care about anything except your lone wolf persona. We're not going to get anywhere with your dumb attitude. So shut up and help me look for clues. And Charlie reluctantly does. However, the group meets back up, unable to find anything. Gozen even seems confused, as something clearly happened at the site. The next day, another attack happens, and Charlie goes with Aaron. However, Charlie keeps looking too quick and tries to leave Aaron behind.
Charlie, there's nothing wrong with relying on others for assistance. Just look at me. I'm part of the team because they believe in my smarts to support where they can't, and their fighting skills help out where I'm lacking.
However, the team regroups and still can't find anything. So, they wait. The following day, another attack happens, and this time Charlie is paired with Emma. But he's still trying to work alone. And for the story, Charlie has been acting like this for at least a week, and Emma is done with this.
Look here, Charles. I'm done listening to your complaints. We're a team, and you and I are paired up for this, and we're going to work together. Now come on.
As she pulls him by the suit to look with her. However, the team still comes up empty. Later, the majority of the team goes to see who Gozen says is a specialist on these things. I haven't exactly decided, but I would think that it would be either Carter Grayson, Wes Collins, Cam Watanabe, Ethan James, or heck, even Justin Stewart. It would be great to have Blake Foster back. But during this, Charlie would be sitting out on a cliffside overlooking the ocean when Kacey comes to sit next to him.
Hey, you okay?
Something's going on. That's for sure. The Glacian Navy is gearing up for something big. If I could just get to their ship, I know I can uncover everything and...
Charlie, listen to yourself. You're not thinking clearly anymore. You want to do everything yourself, but you don't have to anymore. We're a team. We look out for each other. And now you're part of this team too. So stop your lone wolf act and let us help you.
Finally, because it came from someone who's actually the nicest member of the team, it clicks for Charlie. But before anything else, the monster, who, let's call him Snow Rush, appears, taunting them for not being fast enough to catch him. They have a brief fight, and the two rangers morph up. As Snow Rush flees, the two get their bike racers out and chase after him, alerting the others. It's also thanks to Charlie now working in sync with everyone on the team that they're even able to make a new Megazord, the Biker Force Night Megazord, and defeat Snow Rush. As the epilogue of the episode, after the monster is defeated but still emphasizing the story's morals, Charlie visits with Merrick Balaton on how to be a member of this team concerning his past. It would definitely be a good way for Philip Andrew to come back into the role and show a new 6th Ranger what it's like as an evil turned good Power Ranger. But Charlie isn't given a clear answer, as instead he's told,
Well, it's never that easy. All you can do is your best at being there for them. As they said, they're all a team. And you're part of that team now. Every 6th Ranger felt like the outsider at first. But we all became part of our teams because of their trust in us. And they have full trust in you too. You don't have to fight on your own anymore. They're there to help you. And you're there to help them too.
After that, the teens are spending time together in their usual hangout spot when Charlie comes to their table. They allow him to sit and he apologizes to them, acknowledging that he's been a jerk to them. They forgive him and he promises to be a great team member. Pretty interesting, huh? There were a lot of different ideas on stories that I could go for, and I really had a lot of fun making this, guys. There are so many stories that I want to tell with this kind of series. And definitely give me some ideas on what any future stories could be. I really do want to know what your guys' opinions on this are. There is so much that can be done with this, and I legit cannot wait to have you guys see what else comes from this universe. Who knows? Maybe next time we could have Megazords. But if you really want to see that, give this video a like. If you want to see more videos like it, leave a comment. Let me know what video I should do a speed paint for next. Subscribe if you haven't, and ring that bell for notifications. Also, check out my Discord server. It's a great place to just talk with me and other people about the videos that I put out, and it's where I'll be putting up updates every once in a while, and even putting up some additional footage and questions and all that stuff. Also, follow me on Twitter as well at prnerd_official, and check out my TikTok as well. I don't post there too often, but I have been for certain items. Also, follow me on Instagram at PowerRangers_nerd. I put up the artworks for all of my speed paint videos on there for you guys to check out. Also, check out my Patreon as well. I'm still kind of in the process of making it, but it is a great way for you guys to support me and keep the lights on here. And also, by becoming a member on Patreon, you'll be able to get early access to my videos as well. And you could even get some shoutouts on my YouTube channel as well. So, I'd suggest giving that a look too. May the power protect you all, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, I gotta get into my Merrick voice. I actually don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that voice in the comments section.